The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
Tastes just like candy. Hundred and one ways to make your love and your life sweeter. Who I am Candace Harper, lovecoach.com, honey. I teach and inspire audacious intimacy to powerful, professional, grown women who want real relationships and seductive singlehoods. And I always say the dating and relationships are hard, but love is always easy. I see my Lee just joined. What's up, Lee? I feel like you're my co-host at this point, Lee. I'm glad you're here on Facebook Live. So you are either listening to Armed Radio on your smart device with your TuneIn app, or maybe you are in the garden on armedradioglobal.com. We are also now available on iHeartRadio, so I believe that if you have an Alexa, you can ask for Candy. Or maybe you're like my Lee, my co-host, joining us live here on Facebook. And if you are, don't forget to become a member of the Creative Love Collective, which is my group, or you have to become a member of the Armed Radio Group News group. That's a good one too, because then you know what we're all doing. And there's a lot of other great podcasts on the station. So then the other thing you can do, if you're not on Facebook Live, if you're not near a computer and you're, listening on something, you can call in 1-800-508-5431 through the course of the show. Hi, honey. Lee says, LOL, love you too. Aw, I'm so glad you're here. Or you can also send me an email at askforcandypodcast@gmail.com. And obviously I won't answer any of those emails during the show, but I might answer in a later show. If you want to ask a question, make a comment, if something that happens on the show just lights you up, rocks your clock, and you want to talk about it a little bit, feel free to email me and we will definitely talk about it later. All right. So like I said, I'm Candace Harper, lovecoach.com. My talent is conversation. My passion is personal growth. And my purpose is to teach and inspire radical self-acceptance in myself and others so that we can all have our best possible love life. And what this show is about, for those of you who are brand spanking new, week we have lively conversations about different topics relating to love and relationships. And sometimes we'll bring on special guests or games, we'll have activities, that sort of thing. But always we get a chance to laugh and cry or maybe learn something new. And that is why this is a conversation. I don't want you guys just out there just like listening and thinking you can't participate, or watching and thinking you can't participate. I definitely want you to participate. I definitely want you to talk back. I'm not one of those like tips and tricks coaches where it's like I'm laying down all the rules and the things that you should and shouldn't do. I don't believe that you should anything all over yourself. I hate the word should. I believe in having conversation, finding what's right for you, seeing what resonates, talking about it, and really finding authenticity for yourself. And I think that we all have our own answers. The purpose of being a coach is to help you uncover those answers, help you sort of excavate those answers. So I'm sort of like a paleontologist of love. Anyway, my only intention is to create audacious intimacy, seductive singlehoods, and healthy relationships. No shaming. We're not here to shame. We talk about all our stuff. But speaking of shame, if you were listening or watching last week, someone called in and was talking about, I can't remember his name. I want to say his name was Alex or something like that. And was talking about how his sexual fetish was to watch salt and pepper videos. And I don't know if I'm just naive or if it's because I came of age in the 80s and 90s or what it is. But I thought he was actually talking about Salt and Pepper, the band. So I was actually going to start singing Push It. But apparently I have since learned that Salt and Pepper is a fetish, like it's a type of porn movie. And I actually had to go and Google it, or I had to Pornhub it to figure out what the hell he was talking about, because someone told me, they're like, that's actually porn. Salt and Pepper is interracial porn, which, whatever floats your boat. I thought you were watching, What a Man. Maybe you like female rappers, but, whatever. I can be silly and naive in that way. So for tonight's show, we're continuing the Summer of Sexploration. We still got a whole nother month to go and so many more topics to go. And I'm sort of at a space where it's like, I want to see it through because I feel like there's so much to cover. And I know that, next summer I'll probably be doing a sex series also because there's so much to cover. But I'm also at a point where I'm kind of like, if you guys don't want me to talk it to death, if you guys are like, enough already, or if you guys like email me or even on Facebook Live, I see Amara's joined, I see Angela joined. What's up, ladies? If you guys want to suggest sexual related topics for the next month, we only have 4 more Summer of Sexploration shows. So if you guys want to suggest some topics that you want me to deal with, so far I sort of have come up with things based on other coaches that I've met and, stuff that I've dealt with myself, stuff clients have dealt with, but I know that it's a vast, vast world out there. So there might be stuff that you guys are dealing with. What's up, Pamela? What's up, Scott Ryan? There might be stuff that you guys are dealing with I haven't even touched on yet. So if there's some like sexual stuff that you guys want to suggest that for the next 4 shows, I maybe bring somebody in who's expert on it, I certainly will do that. I still haven't brought on the orgasmic meditation people, which that I definitely want to do. So if you're listening, orgasmic meditation people, I definitely want you to come on. So tonight, you guys are my special guests once again. I really enjoyed last week. I loved the intimacy of it just being me and you guys. Also, I love being on the mic. So that took care of that. But I also love to be able to talk to you again. And I know that when I have a guest, sometimes I can't interact as much with, my Facebook Live people or even the people that call in. Like, granted, we did sort of stop so that we could, interact and talk to the one caller that we had with his fetish videos. But still, it's like, I want to be able to actually talk and engage with you guys too. So it's going to be a balance of like guests, like actual special guests here with me or by remote, and just me by myself. So hopefully you guys are still down for that ride. I would think so. I would hope so. The theme for tonight arose out of a very tough week. I actually lost a friend this week, actually a New York institution. Many, many people lost a friend this week, just on Thursday night, and we memorialized and buried her yesterday. And the show is not going to be about her. I just want to say that she was this amazing person, a talented entertainer, and just a really, really funny comedian. So, I know that her name was Poppy Kramer. She definitely didn't want things to be taken too seriously. She didn't take herself too seriously. She didn't take other people too seriously. And that's what made her this fantastic, magnetic, just, loving, big-hearted person, is that she just had everybody laughing all the time. And so to honor her, I am no comedian, I will tell you that right now, but to honor her, I decided we should do a topic that's light. Like, let's lighten up. We don't have to talk about traumas. We don't have to talk about how you can get good at your orgasms and stuff. I know that's not that deep, but still, there's no pressure to be good at anything. Tonight, we are just going to be talking about sexy text messages that we have sent, sexy text messages that have been sent to us. And I also found an article, because I'm always researching and excavating these sort of like tips and tricks kinds of coaches and bloggers who tell you what you should do. And I used to be one, so don't get me wrong. I mean, I definitely, when I blog, sometimes can get a little bit rulesy. But I like to excavate them sometimes, because I feel like, and I've said this a million times, if you haven't done the inner work, like the emotional training to the point where you're so happy that you're happy to be in a relationship with yourself, it doesn't matter how many tips and tricks somebody shares with you, like they're not sustainable. So I always I don't mean to make fun of it like it's invalid. It's not invalid. If you feel good about yourself, you can use the tips and tricks, and that might, push things along or whatever, and end up having a great relationship. But at some point, you're going to have to switch to authenticity and you're going to have to be in the moment that you're in and not, trying to run some sort of game. So I like to research these people who kind of, have a list of rules or a list of tips. But this one's actually kind of cute. Her name's Nicola Scholes. She wrote an article for a website called lovepanky.com. Love Panky, like hanky panky. It's all about, little cute love things and fun things that you can do. And she says, use these 20 subtle and sexy texts to set the mood for the naughtiest conversations. Now, I don't know those of you who are on the live, if you saw what I posted about the live. Hopefully you have shown up with your own naughty texts, your favorite naughty texts, or naughty texts that you have heard before, so that you can also share. I see that Rob Rosenthal has joined, speaking of whom, on Wednesday night, I believe. Rob, you can tell if you're still on, 8 or 9 o'clock. Rob does a food podcast that is so funny and interesting. So you definitely want to tune in for that. All the same tune-in information in the Garden, Armed Radio, tune-in app, all that good stuff. All right, so we are going to go through Nicola's article about sexy text messaging. What she suggests are like subtle and sexy, that you can get the conversation going. And, you know, I think this is for if you just like somebody and you kind of want to subtly like turn them on and have them seeing you in a sexual way, or if you are in a partnership, if you're in a relationship with someone and you want to have like sexy text conversations and, you know, get it going in that way. So that's what I think she's suggesting. What she says in the article, she says, we've all been there and we've all sent it to a special someone. But have you ever felt awkward to start a naughty conversation through text messages? I got to tell you, I'm so awkward with it. Like, because I'm such whatever. I don't mind sexiness. I'm not uncomfortable with sexiness, but with texting, for some reason, for me, like a sexy text, I always have to make fun of the person for sending it, just because, like, there's no, like, I mean, I get it. Like, you can turn somebody on with your words, and, you know, if you have been dating somebody or you've known somebody for a while, there can be, you know, you can definitely spark someone's sexual interest. But I'm a little bit of a smartass. And I like, you know, I'm sort of a no BS person. So if someone sends me a sexy text, it has to be so clever for me to engage. And even then, I kind of like can't take it too seriously. And I know some people can actually like finish, like they can fully have a sexual texting conversation and actually get off from it. And if you can, absolutely kudos to you. Keep texting those sexy messages. I see Julie and Ron just joined us. Welcome, Julie and Ron. So this is what this girl, Nicola Scholes, says about sending sexy texts. She says that it should come naturally. Say anything you feel like, and as long as you feel horny, chances are you'll say all the right things. Come on, people. Come on. Like, Nicola. I honestly do not think having a phone and being horny gives you the ability to text things that are necessarily sexually appealing. Like, those two things actually cause people to embarrass themselves all the time. Like, when people say exactly what, and here's the thing, I'm all about authenticity. I'm not saying don't say what's on your mind, but what she's saying is like, it's just going to come naturally if you feel horny. I don't know. I don't know about that, but let's see what else she says. She says the things to know before texting sexy. Like, you can always text a naughty line like, I want you now, come on and fuck me. It works and it sends the message straight through, which I think that's what people would text if they're just horny in their mind. So, you know, I don't know. It's a little bit trite, right? She says, but it comes with a major flaw. So she's contradicting herself. It comes with a major flaw. When you make a sexy text sound too explicit or say a sexy line without hiding any meaning, your text loses its sensual appeal. I totally agree with that. Like, I don't know what she was talking about the first time around. Like, if you're just horny, whatever you text will be sexy. Hi, Michael, who just joined us. I mean, it's like, what you want to do is actually titillate the person, entertain them a little bit, excite them. Otherwise, what is the point? Even if it's someone that you're in a relationship with, like, what is the point of trying to text sexy if you're just going to be blunt about it? Now, that's not to say that doesn't work. You know, maybe if you haven't had sex, you're with someone for a long time, it could be very sexy to be like, oh, I'm naked, come fuck me right now. Because if you haven't done it in a while. But I would say if what you're trying to do is start a sensual seduction, you know, I think she's a little more on track now when she says, don't be too direct. She's like, it's too direct. Exciting as it seems, it's still boring because you leave nothing to surprise. We want to leave something to surprise. Lee says it's like sexting. Exactly. And I guess on some levels, sexting can be foreplay. Like, I've known people before where, we're dating, and if they're complimentary and, it gets a little bit sexy over text, like that is definitely a buildup for when you're actually going to see each other and actually be in the same room, right? Says, okay, too direct and as exciting as it seems, it's still boring because you leave nothing to surprise. Your partner may read it, smile, and then just play along with your mood. That could happen. But we want to actually turn them on. We want to be sensual and see some interesting things. Also, those of you who have tuned in, if there's ones that you send or that have been sent to you that you thought were really, really sexy, or even if you think of one while we're in this conversation, please feel free to share it, because it's fun to think about, some of the things that we can say. And it's amazing to me, how many people actually are not completely comfortable, even with partners, people they've been dating for a while, with going ahead and just unleashing their sexy thoughts. But, I don't judge, because I have my moments too, right? Okay, she says, let's face it, shocking sexual sentences don't always work. They're fun, but they cut the suspense and go straight to the end. In a realistic world, how many times can you ask your lover to leave everything and... Absolutely right. Because if you want to enjoy a sexy text conversation, start by going slow and easy and playing with sentences to turn the person on one step at a time. Now, I like the way that sounds. I think that that's definitely the way to go. Just keep your sexy text messages naughty and mysterious. It makes the exchange of texts more exciting because your partner won't know what's on your mind. Instead, they'll feel like they're the one that's building up the sexual texts by asking the right questions. I like this. You say something and then it's not necessarily blatant, and then they have to ask you things, and it becomes like a sexy conversation because they have to ask. They feel like they're sort of the ones who initiated it, which is a little bit manipulative, but in a sexy way. It's not bad manipulative, right? Says, yes, they'll feel like they're the one that's building up the sexual text by asking the right questions, when in fact, you're the one who actually starts the whole sexy game by saying the perfect first line. Yes. Are you ready to get naughty while texting sexy? That's what Nicola says. She says, just use these subtle and sexy conversation starters while texting. Go with the flow and remember to think sexy and talk sexy. Which, if we're texting, I don't know. If I'm talking sexy, you can't hear me. So she says, she gives this whole list of 20 suggestions for things that you can text. I want feedback from you guys. I want to hear whether you guys would text these things, what comes up for you out of these things that she says you should text, if you think they're sexy or not. I'd be curious to know, because I feel like there's a cap for every bottle, and different people have different predilections and different things that turn them on. Right? So, all right, let's look at her list. She says, number one, which I read number one and I'm like, really? She says, I can't believe I texted you while I was peeing. Who are you dating? R. Kelly? Really? I don't know about that one. I don't want to be judgmental. I don't want to be shaming. But I can't believe I texted you while I was peeing. Does that... I want to hear from the guys. The guys that are listening. Maybe it's just you, Lee, at this point. I don't know if the other guys are still in the room. If a woman were to text you that, what would be your initial response? I mean, if a man were to text me that, I would say, well, do you want to finish first? And then we can talk about it, right? Lee says, ha, 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 oh, hell no, right? I don't get that one at all, unless, we have a fetish and we're into the whole urination thing and we know that would be different. But on average, if you're just getting to know someone and you don't know that to be true about them, I don't know that would necessarily be the first sensual step. Although it would make someone think about your genitalia, maybe. Think about your genitalia. We're going down a whole slippery slope. Now I'm thinking about genitalia peeing, which to me is not sexy. But for some of you, I don't want to judge. If anybody out there is like, hell yeah, me and Lee are a no on that. Right? And Sean has just, hi Sean, hi Michael, hi Ron, who have joined us too. Yeah, I don't know about this one, Nicola. So number 2, she says, the text message should be, I'm feeling so cold even though I'm under the blanket. Hold on for a minute. Let me put my clothes on. I mean, that's kind of sexy. What do you say, Lee? I hope there's not anything else going on in the water closet. Right? Like if it's not just onesies. Because twosies, I mean, unless that's your fetish, that is not sexy at all. No, it's true. So yeah, back to number 2. She says, I'm feeling so cold even though I'm under the blanket. Hold on for a minute. Let me put on my clothes. I mean, you're texting. So, I mean, I get it. Like you're just saying that to turn the person on, but it's a little obvious. But I can see how that's like, maybe someone might say back, like, don't put your clothes on. But then they can't ask you what you're wearing. So I don't know if that would work. But, I guess she says that, this will have them thinking about you naked. Right? And even though they wouldn't have to hold on for a minute, really, because you could get dressed while you're texting. I feel like, you're putting it in their mind that you're. I actually think it would be sexier if you're putting it in their mind that you're taking clothes off. Right? Lee says, much better on the second one. Now putting the clothes on starts the flirtatious talk. Yeah, I mean, anything that has to do with like the change and exchange of clothing, like I could see how that actually would incite some inspirational talk. If you think of any sexy texts that you've sent, I know who you're sending them to. If you think of any that you want to share, even if it was like past ones that because I like to hear what guys say, especially guys that I think aren't just dick pic senders. There's a lot of you guys out there, and I say this all the time, who still think that the dick pic is like an avenue into a sexy conversation. And maybe it is in some relationships, depending on the stage of your relationship. It's not that it absolutely can't be, but I think, for those of you who are doing it very soon, for new women that you've just met or that you're attracted to, those of you who are, just right off the bat sending the dick pic, not flirtatious, not sexy. Sorry to break it to you. All right, so the third one she says is, I wish you could be with me now. Which, yeah, sure. Okay. If you're missing the person that you're, with, or if you're trying to, that's a good one for if you have a crush on someone. You want to just kind of like blatantly open it up that it's a bit of a crush. Lee says there's so much more to the sexting than busting out the lines. To me, there's a background story. Never been together, just teasing, been together for a while. It's about context. I totally agree with that. I think you're absolutely right, because there's so many things, like I was saying, like with dick pics and things like that. There's so many things that when you've been with somebody for a while, that you can totally get away with sexting to someone, and it's total, like you understand each other's sort of sexual flora and fauna, or whatever, as opposed to when you're just getting to know somebody and you're trying to sort of like put it like this, but play that game and kind of like I don't know, get them turned on. So, the third one, she says, I wish you could be with me now, which I think I like that one for if you have a crush on somebody and you just kind of want to like, especially if it's like, your friends and you want to like open it up beyond friends and you want to let them know that you kind of have a crush on them without saying I have a crush on you. Like that one, I think is kind of like mysterious enough that it might get someone titillated and interested in asking a question back, or, oh, I wish I could be with you too. And then all of a sudden you got a whole thing going. Or if they don't like you, they can be like, oh, well, I'm really busy. Or I'm with my wife. I'm with my girlfriend or my husband or whatever. Hi, Roy. Roy Fisher just joined us. What's up, Roy? He says hello. So then, and you guys can tell me what you think about that one too. I mean, that one's, kind of like lame, I think, in the grand scheme of sexting. So number 4, she says, you can text, I'm watching a sexy video of a girl or guy who looks just like you, and then link it to the explicit video with a really attractive person so your lover would be flattered. I don't know about that one. I mean, I feel like depending on who you're dealing with, that person could feel a little pressure, or they could feel a little jealous, or like, I don't know. It just depends. It's like Lee said. If you're in a relationship with somebody and you guys are, very trusting and open, and you're okay with the truth that you're going to be sexually and physically attracted to other people, I think that that's cool. If you're in a relationship that's not like that, whether it's that it's new or there's a level of jealousy in the relationship, I feel like that can be kind of a dangerous. Like when I was in a relationship that wasn't a healthy relationship, there was definitely, Lee says, no, that is a no. I hear that, Lee. You got to tell me why you feel like that's a no. But I'll tell you, like my last relationship, which was not that healthy, if I would have sent a text like that, that would not have gone over well. It would have been like, oh, you're looking at that dude because I don't please you. And, it really depends on who you're dealing with as far as whether that one would work or not. I'm watching a sexy video of a guy or girl who looks just like you, link it to an explicit video with a really attractive person so your lover would be flattered. Especially for a guy. I don't know that a guy would be flattered that you're looking at another guy in a video and you say, oh, he looks like you. I don't know. Guys out there, Lee, anybody, Roy, tell me if that's something. Lee says no on number 4, but I want to know why. In the meantime, I'm going to move to number 5, which is the standard. Number 5, what are you wearing right now? I feel like no big surprise there. Very much the standard. I feel like even creepers say that. Anybody could say that. And that's sort of like the running joke of sexting, right? Like, what are you wearing right now? Or, phone sex. Like, that's what they say. Number 6, can you guess the color of my underwear? Yeah, that's cute. No. You guys got to tell me. Let me know what you think. I know there's a delay on the Facebook. I'm actually looking at the live feed on my phone while I'm also looking at the live feed here and see if there's any sort of lineup. Lee says, I'm not interested in being linked to someone in a video. It's not exciting to hear. I'm looking for attention, not hearing about some other guy. See, I love that you said that, Lee, because I feel like, and I guess, I don't want to generalize what men and women feel, but I think more so with men, that would be a little bit of an ego blow rather than a compliment. I think maybe with some women, it might be a compliment, if I look as beautiful and as sexy as a porn star or whatever. Lee says underwear. What if she doesn't wear any? Well, I guess you can't guess the color. The only color is nude. Doesn't wear any underwear, and you're referring back to the can you guess the color of my underwear? I mean, here's the thing about can you guess the color of my underwear? That's another one of those ones I think is like a good early stages one, because it's like it's a little bit shocking if I've not seen your underwear, right? If we're sleeping together and we've been together for 20 years and I know what all your from your granny panties to your thongs, what they look like, I feel like, and I'm speaking from a guy's point of view, am I really going to be like, oh, I don't know, that's brown. And for guys, I feel like with guys, if they're not wearing tidy whities, it's like, I don't know, plaid. Like, I don't think it says there's that much titillation in like guessing the color of a guy's underwear. But like I said, if you've never seen that person's underwear and they say, can you guess the color of my underwear? You're opening a door. So then I think that would make it feel a little bit sexy. That might start off a sexy conversation. Ooh, number 7 gets hot. Wait, what'd you say, Lee? Lee says, guess which one, thong or briefs, right? That's a good one. Guess what I'm wearing, thong or briefs, lace or silk. I like that, Lee. So Lee, are you saying, and for those of you who are listening and not on the Facebook Live, Lee, who's always on the show and co-hosts with me, he's commenting through the Facebook Live, and he's saying thong or briefs, lace or silk. But Lee, are you also saying that would be what you would want to hear? He's saying, so that's a yes. That's a yes from Lee. So guys like the underwear type question. All right. And would you say that that's what you'd want to hear if you've been in a relationship for a long time? Like, would that turn you on? Would that be sexy and titillating? Let us know. I'm going to go to number 7 because number 7 gets a little bit salacious. Number 7 says you should text, "My legs are missing you in between them." Whoa. Wait, we have a comment from Sael. "My sexting is literally my sexual desires for the man I'm with, what I want to do to you, etc. I like to tell him what I'm thinking about and how wet it makes me." Woo, honey. Yes, I totally agree with, like, I do think that that's, will definitely bring the conversation and it'll definitely get them there. But what stage of relationship are you talking about when you do that? Like, is it when you just feel attracted to somebody, or is it like when you're in a relationship with somebody? Like, Sael, tell us, like, give us context for that, like what Lee was saying. Lee says, "Foreplay, banter, slow build into more." I agree. Yeah, so I get it, you guys. I totally, let's see, literally sexual desires for the man that I'm with. But then how do you say it too? Like, if you're expressing your sexual desires for the man that you're with, the woman that you're with, but I think we're gonna go woman to man first, because I think it's a different kind of, like, conversation. Because I feel like men have their way of doing it, and a lot of you could learn how to finesse it a little bit better. And women, we have our way of doing it. Lee says, describing the feeling and what she is picturing at that exact moment. Oh, that's the kind of sexting that you'd want to hear from the woman that you're with, that you're already in a relationship with. Sael says that is full on relationship mode. Yes, like when you're describing, like, this is, I'm totally turned on, and this is what about you turns me on, and all of that stuff. I feel like that is for relationship mode. And I feel like that can be, a way to keep things fresh, especially if you kind of do it in the moment. And she also says, "I throw all my creativity into it, so not wasting it on a part-timer." I got you, honey. So he has to prove that he's, like, there for the long haul before you get into the heavy sex conversation. I get that. I mean, you know what? I have to think about my sex game a little bit more. And this is totally the reason why I'm on the Summer of Sexploitation and having these conversations with you guys, because, I know that things are different for everybody. And, like I said, I do believe in authenticity and being in the moment and being in your moment with however you're feeling and how you want to express yourself. But I am such a, like, sarcastic smartass when it comes to this stuff. And it has, like, shot me in the foot. Like, Sael, from you saying that you put all your creativity into it, so you want it to be with somebody you're really with, I like to put my creativity into it too, but it's usually kind of making fun of that other person if they start a sexting conversation. It says, "I've often described what type of food I'd like to eat off of his body." Oh, hello, kid. I give you one of, like, lick off some whipped cream or, things like that, make a banana split in his ass. I know that's not what you're talking about, but see, that's where I go. That's the kind of thing I start to think about. And I know there's sexier things. Like, I don't know, those of you who were children in the 70s who had parents who liked R&B music, there was this album by the Ohio Players, and they had a song called Sweet Sticky Thing, or Sexy Sweet Sticky Thing, something like that. It was this gorgeous caramel brown woman who had honey poured all over her. And, it was very seductive and that stuff. But, when you're really doing that, it ends up being kind of... Lee says, in his ass. that's where I go. That's how I want to eat food off of your body. So honey, I'm sorry. That's where I go. I go to, like, that's why I have a hard time maintaining a good sex conversation, because I go straight to the content with it. All right. What's another one? So wait, number 7 we haven't even talked about yet. "My legs are missing you in between them." Obviously, that's for somebody who you've already had sex with, right? And then what do they say to that? "Oh yeah, well, I'm gonna come and hit you later." Like, I'm so bad with this. Like, all right, I'll get in between them later. Like, Lee says you need a quiet whipped cream moment. Leo says I have ruined many dishes for my exes, like straddling him while I eat a breakfast sandwich, and the warm yolk drops onto his chest. Oh my gosh! I can't be with you with the warm breakfast sandwich. But honey, whatever floats your boat. I always feel like, first of all, if I'm eating a warm breakfast sandwich, that means I'm hungover. That means I drank too much the night before. If I drank too much the night before, it's like not very likely that I feel sexy enough to, want to share it with you, let alone eat it while straddling you. Like, if I'm hungover, I'm off in a corner eating my runny, warm, cheesy, yolky breakfast sandwich. But yeah. He says I need a quiet whipped cream moment. Yes. A little whipped cream. Yeah, I could go with that. I mean, I've done that. Like, if you've done that, holler. Like, if you've done the whole, like, whipped cream. Sayel says she does it with a breakfast sandwich. If you've done the food thing and you know how messy it gets, will the sexting about it turn you on? Like, if someone sexts me about, like, oh, I want to lick chocolate off both nipples, and, a Cardi B song, he says something about putting hot sauce on her titties. Like, if you've done that, will it turn you on? For me, like talking about food, licking food off of my body or licking food off the other person's body, I've been there, I've done that, and it was a mess. It was a mess. I know I make myself sound so frigid. I really am, like, sexually down for certain things, but, trying so hard not to just be an auntie. All right, number 8. Says to text, I just bought new underwear and I can't wait to show it to you. I like that, right? Unless you bought granny panties. And I don't want to see your granny panties. Or if you're a guy and you bought tidy whities, I don't want to see your tidy whities. But yeah, I could see how that could start a cute little sexting conversation. What would Lee, Sayel, Angela, I know you're watching, like, what would you guys say back to that? Lee says, smile, picture the moment, the warm feeling, the hot breath, and accept the mess. Oh, Lee. I can't disagree with that. Sayel says, trust me, once I've licked sauces off a man, that reminder turns him into Pavlov's dog. You got that kind of tongue action, honey. All right. I mean, like, both of you seem to be advocates of it, so I am willing to be open to the possibility of once again giving it a try. At the very least, thinking of it as something sexy to text or have someone text to me and try to like, and I'll try to stay in the moment of like, oh, this is sexy. I can do this without making fun of it. I promise I'm going to try. Lee says yes to number 8. I just bought new underwear and can't wait to show it to you. If it's from Fredericks of Hollywood or Victoria's Secret, I'm dating myself with Fredericks of Hollywood. Or Victoria's Secret, or Costabella, or, some place where they have Mallorcan pearl thongs that go up between your ass cheeks. Like, it's got to be something sexy. It can't be, I just brought my cotton floral with a flower in the front panty. I can't wait for you to see it, the boy short, which I've been guilty of that. Trying to be sexy in a boy short. Well, sometimes boy shorts can be sexy. Cotton underwear on a girl is not always that sexy, but it depends on what you like, right? So depending on who you're sexting that about, I guess you would talk about or buy whatever underwear they like, and then as soon as you say that, then you've opened up a conversation. Lee says, hell, honey, share the cream, the food, all as foreplay. The thong is it. Is into the thong. Men love that thong. That thong. Right? It's not bad. The only thing about the thong, because I actually had a friend turn me on to the thong. She knows who she is, my friend Lisa, years ago. And it's absolutely great if you don't want to have panty lines. It looks fantastic. And it is definitely great for sexual activity. However, you cannot walk around in a thong like day in, day out. It is not good for you. You will get all kinds of like bacteria moving in places it shouldn't. A little bit of chafing, even if you're a very clean person. If you wear a thong day in, day out, it's not good. But if you wear a thong for sexy time, it definitely, even if you're one of these ladies who And I don't know what happened, because when I was in high school, white girls did not have butts. But now everybody has an ass. And I don't necessarily think that everybody's getting surgery. I don't know. It's like what they're feeding us. There's like antibiotics in the food or something. But everybody has an ass these days. But if you're one of those girls who feels like you're a little ass deficient, a thong is definitely the way to go. Like a thong will give you the impression of like, having some cheeks. Now, if you have secretary cheeks where they're like actually concave, I don't know how much a thong might help a little bit. I would say still try it, especially if you're already in a relationship, because I think when a man is in a relationship with a woman and he loves her, they're not as critical as women can actually be, and they're not expecting you to be some like amazing beauty standard. I think men just enjoy it when a woman is confident about what her body looks like. So no matter what your ass looks like, whether it's like, a big round Jennifer Lopez, or if it's just like flat and pancakey or whatever, I think that if you're confident about it, if you're in a relationship with somebody, you can wear your thong and, they'll be pleased to have it. They'll be happy to have you do it. Like Lee said, thong it is. The thong it is. All right, so we are at number 9. If I were with you right now, where would you want me to touch you? I actually like this one. You guys got to tell me what you think about this one, because I feel like that. Lee says, ass and thighs come from the squat rack. I agree with our high school ladies. Those of you who don't know, those of you out in the listening world, Lee and I actually went to high school together. And there was actually one white girl in our high school who actually had ass. She's on Facebook, so I'm not going to say her name. And she had a gorgeous figure. Like her figure was banging. But I think she got made fun of for it a little bit, because most of the girls in our high school had none, like pancake. It wasn't a thing in the 80s. The 80s was all about hair and boobs. And so all the girls in our high school had big hair and boobs. If you didn't have boobs, you were stuffing boobs. My best friend had a lot of boobs. I've done okay for myself. Back then, that's what it was all about. Now, because of J-Lo and, the Kardashians and, whoever else, and the fact that black culture gets appropriated so much, and black women have always had asses, now everybody's got an ass all of a sudden. Everybody's eating red beans and rice. Lee says the Aquanet ladies. Yes, the girls in our high school were the Aquanet ladies. So, you had way more hair than ass back then. And I remember even being like, doing whatever I could to like slim it down. Because, of course, when you're in high school, you want to assimilate with everybody. And I don't have like I would like to have like a lot more outward curve. But what I do have, I definitely wanted to pack in. And even my mom used to make us pack it in girdles to go to church. So, back then in the 80s, like having ass was not the thing. And thank God that changed around, because it looks so much better and whatever. Although I don't advocate, I know I'm totally off topic, I do not advocate women who are injecting themselves and doing self-surgeries and things like that. That's very dangerous. It's not worth it. There's a lot of women who are in a lot of pain and having a lot of problems behind that. If you do not have ass, find something else to love about yourself. Or if you're going to get surgery, make sure that you can pay for something that is safe and go to an accredited doctor. And, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it to let somebody cut into you so you can have some ass. Off topic. Anyway, number 10, you can text to your lover or your significant other, I'm watching porn. What do you guys think about that? You just text, I'm watching porn. Like my last relationship, if I would have texted that, he would have been pissed off. He would have been like, oh, I don't do enough for you. But I've been in relationships where if I would have texted that, then it probably would have worked. It probably would have been like, oh yeah, like what kind of porn are you watching? And that would have started a very sexy conversation. And Mary Beth just joined. What's up, Mary Beth? Let me know. Lee, Sayel, tell me what you guys think about texting to someone, I'm watching porn. Well, if you were around last week, that guy that called in and was talking about I'm watching Salt and Pepper videos, which I literally thought were music videos. Like I told you guys at the top, he was watching interracial porn. He wanted us all to know it. I don't know if it was all of us or just me or, whatever. I don't know if it was an invitation. I don't know what it was, but he wanted to make sure to share. He liked an interracial video. Good for you. Anyway, what's number 11? My hands were busy, but they took a break to text you. kind of like that one because there's humor in that one. My hands were busy, but they took a break to text you. What were your hands? What were your hands doing? See, that's kind of sexy to me, and I don't know if it's because like, the whole masturbation thing to me is very sexy. Like it's someone else masturbating, myself masturbating, and then getting to get like to me, that's one of my things. We all have our things, right? We all have our turn-ons. We all have those things that like, if someone were to text that, I think, yeah, I might be down. Lee says, Pornhub, LOL, porn is okay, but I'd rather be together and watch it together. I agree with that. I totally agree with that. And like very specific porn, not just any porn. It has to be like, good porn that we both enjoy and we both like. Sayal says, I've texted, I was thinking of you and started masturbating. That has gotten a good response. I could see why it would, because that means that you're like so sexually attracted to that person that they're on your mind enough that it like actually, turns you on. I know I'm breaking it down so simply, but that's a huge turn on. Lee says number 11 is a great tease, right? It totally is. That I think that ding, 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 ding. So far, number 11 is the winner for all of the possible texts that we could send to start a sexy conversation. I'm voting number 11. Sounds like you guys are voting number 11. Let's see. Number 12. I'm imagining you're with me right now. Okay. That's standard. That's a lot like, I was thinking of you and I started masturbating, but that not as exciting as what Sayal wrote. And I think that's another one that's like, it's like, what are you wearing? It's, it's one of those standard ones. I think people know. Also, it's not like that one. I think you are blatantly starting the sexual conversation, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like if you want to blatantly start it, but it's not as subtle as she is sort of like, trying to put it off to be. Hi, Yanis. Yanis just joined us. All right. So number 13, I'm trying to sleep, but I can't stop thinking about all the things you could do to me if you were with me right now. Oh, I like that one too. I like the ones where it like suggests that, that person is on your mind and that's what has you sexually titillated. The ones where it's like you're trying to have them, I don't know, like you're trying to get them to be a certain way. I don't know if that, to me, that doesn't seem as effective. I feel like it's, this is the state that I'm in because I'm thinking of you, or this is, when I think about you and I want to touch myself. Like that, to me, that's like the sexy stuff. Lee says, with you, but what are we doing if we are together right now? That one I don't fully understand. Is that referring back to number 13 leads to whipped cream and a mess? We're back to that whipped cream. But yeah, I mean, I could see how it would. Because it's like, there's something that's very sexy about, that someone is thinking of you in that way and that you're on their mind in that way. Yanni says, hey girl, what's up? I hope I get to talk to you. See you soon. But yeah, like that you're on someone's mind in that way, especially if you've been in a relationship for a long time. And let's say, they're traveling or you're traveling or whatever, like, I can't sleep because I can't stop thinking about you. Ah, that's so sexy. I love that. Sean is just laughing out loud. I love it. Sean, Sean, I know that you're an old married guy with kids and all of that stuff. I'm blowing up your spot. But if you have any good sexy texts, especially if you send any to your wife, like share those with us because we're trying to think of what text messages might get a very sexy conversation going. And according to this article, these are subtle. I don't know how subtle they really are. Some of them are very standard. Some of them I'm sure we've used before. But we've had some gems. We had a couple gems. I really loved my hands were busy one. All right. Number 14, you can text to them, I'm looking for sex toys online. That's pretty blatant. Like you're laying it on the table. And then that does give them an open for being like, oh yeah, what kind? Or, I don't know, what are you shopping for? What are you going to do with them? Hi, Patricia. Patricia just joined. That one, I think that's pretty obvious. You guys can let me know what you think about that one, the looking for sex toys online. Here's another one. I had a naughty dream last night and you were in me. I mean it. That's cute. I actually like that one. I think it's a little bit clever. I might use that one. For someone that I mean, I would even use that one for someone who I was dating but hadn't had sex with and just found really attractive. Like, I think that's a good sort of green light one to use. And it's also a good one to use if you've already greenlit and you've already been with that person, right? To keep it nice and fresh. All right, number 16. I can't believe it's already 8:53. This time goes by so fast. Number 16. Do you believe in kiss and tell? Because I want you to kiss me and do things to me in your mind and then tell me all about it. That's cute. That's cute. You know, Lee says, LOL Freudian slip in. Yes, that's exactly what that last one was. What was it? I had a naughty dream last night and you were in me. It's a naughty Freudian slip. I love it. All right, number 17 is I'm lying in bed and bored. Do you want to play Simon Says? That one, okay, whatever. That's corny. I don't know. You guys tell me what you think about that one. I'm telling you, like, I'm so about the I don't know. Like, I feel like it's more authentic and it's more titillating for me. And, assuming for someone that I would be attracted to sort of make it a little bit more about them. And not so much about, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying. But yeah. You guys tell me what you think about the Simon Says one. Plus, then how do you play Simon Says? Oh, I guess when you're texting, you could be like, Simon Says, touch your pussy or whatever, or Simon Says, like Cardi B says, make the pussy crack a smile. I don't know. You could say anything. Hi, Roberta. Roberta just joined. Those of you who are out in armed radio world, please feel free if you think of one before we're almost done here. We only got a few minutes left. And if you want to call in and let us know some sexting that you do, just to share it with the crowd. Okay, so number 18, what would you want to do with me after our date tomorrow? Oh. Now, see, that's a good one if you want to kick it up a notch. Like, if you're dating somebody or you've been on a couple dates and you feel like you're ready to, like, take it to that physical level, what would you want to do with me after our date tomorrow? That kind of like, I think that if you're going to text that, you definitely have to be thinking sex. If you're just thinking, oh, I want to have ice cream after the movie, you don't want to leave it that open. Like, you want to be a little bit more specific. But yeah, I don't mind that one. And then number 19, and the reason I'm rushing you guys is because we have so little time left. I can't believe how quickly this time goes by. Number 19, I can see two pussies humping outside my window. They're meowing so much, it's hard for me to go back to sleep. All right, that one's kind of cute. Like it's kind of like kid joke cute. Obviously, it's not a kid's joke, but it has that sort of like double entendre. Yeah, you guys tell me what you think. Two pussies humping outside my window. Meow. And number 20, this is the last one that she suggests, is want to play a game with me. Lee says number 18 is making the intention clear. Ice cream? That leads to whipped cream. That's a mess. How come, Lee, everything leads back to whipped cream? How is that the case? I'm not mad at that. Not mad at that. And honestly, Lee and Sayel, I am the possibility of attempting a food sex combination depending on who I'm with. It's got to be somebody who, like, I don't mind getting messy with or whatever. That's not like new sex. Lee says messes are okay. I know. Messes can be a lot of fun, but then also sometimes they can be kind of a little too sticky and a little too, I don't know, whatever. Now I'm getting too personal. I'm giving you guys way too much personal information. And Sayel says, I love a mess. I once had to clean chocolate off my ceiling. I love it. You go, girl. That is fantastic. I absolutely love that. I've never had to clean chocolate off the ceiling. That is amazing. I love you guys so much for being game and participating with this, like, craziness. And here's the thing. The basic law here is that it's really about authenticity, and it's really about having fun with it and just not taking yourself too seriously. We got 1 minute left. Like I said, it's all about not taking yourself too seriously and just having a good time. So before we go, I want to say thank you to you guys for being part of the game and participating. I want you to know that my 45-day intensive one-on-one coaching program to help single women over 35 discover their purpose and attract a soulmate is a secret art of seductive singlehood. So definitely get in touch with me about that. It's a mind, body, and spirit practice. The 3 ways to make your love and life sweeter this week. Number 1, send your lover a sexy text. Number 2, if you don't have a lover, send a sexy text to your crush and have fun with it. And number 3, check out my new Instagram TV channel, Naked Face Walks, where I take you guys on my morning walk and just share some nuggets while we sweat. It's a lot shorter. It's like usually 4 to 6 minute videos. So check that out on Instagram. If you go to @CandyLoveCoach and then type channel at the end of the URL with a / or you can just use the link that's in the description of this video and check it out. And you guys can come on my walks with me like almost every morning. And, I just talk about different stuff that's on my mind. So it's a little bit self-helpy, little personal growth. And for the armed radio people who are about to leave us, till next time, never forget your love machine. If you ever start to feel like you're not getting the love you need, just make more and ask for Candy. For those of you who are on the Facebook,